welcome back to episode 2 of Toolan's Truth. Wow, that feels flipping beautiful to say. I didn't even think I'd be here. Between you and I, genuinely, I thought we're here. We're here. I loved doing the first episode. I loved seeing your feedback. It was so rewarding. It was such an amazing feeling to see your feedback, and it's something that has really surprised me, because typically you'd expect your motivation for starting something like this, I need to help as many people as possible, I need to get as many views as I can. But I really love the fact that it's small and intimate. I feel so much more connected, grateful than I ever did, candidly. And I remember there was a point where I got like 150,000 views on a TikTok, and I remember thinking it's flopped and being disappointed because the other ones were doing stupid numbers. And for me, that really just emphasizes how dangerous the numbers game can be, and sometimes why it's nice to be able to actually envision the other person sitting on the other end of the screen. It's nice. It's really nice because I can read every single comment. It makes sense to me, and I feel so grateful for the support. You guys really are the best supporters in the world. I get tagged in TikTok, Instagram edits every single day. Every day. And it's been months and months and months and months. I am so grateful for you, genuinely. More than I ever have been in my life. And I think that when you're in it and it's so big, it's really hard to comprehend. You know, you're constantly in fight or flight. You're thinking about the next scene or whatever. But when you can actually take a step back and be grateful, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And that's the space I'm in now. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in. I'm doing this to help you and to share my story. So without further ado, today's episode is about Corey. I asked you guys on LTBTS, what do you want to see today in this episode? And you got back and you said, how did you land Coronation Street? How did you become an actor? How do I chase my dreams? Had one about religion. So we're going to try and tie them all into one. And I want to talk about my journey, where the mental shift happened, what I discovered, and how it led to me achieving my dream goal of becoming an actor on Coronation Street at 19 years old. So in that, I really do hope there is some nuggets of wisdom that you can pick up that you can apply to chasing your goal, your dream, whatever it is, and help you, because I want to help. That's what I want to do. So I guess we have to start from the beginning, or even before the beginning. It was December 2022. I remember distinctly one night I had an awful day. Poor Luca. I'd gone to acting class and I'd absolutely decimated a scene. And the teacher had ripped into me and given me very honest feedback, shall we just say. And I got home about 9:30, 10 o'clock, lay in bed. And it was one of them moments like in the film where like the main character's like weighing up his options. And I was thinking to myself, do I quit acting? Am I just going to throw the towel in? Am I cut out for this? Are my friends just going to laugh at me for being a failure? And it was a really pivotal moment in my life, because it was one of them where it was now or never. I had to make a change to the way that I was thinking. I had to make a change to the way that I was operating, because something wasn't clicking. And what I did was, and I recommend all of you do this, is I reflected back on my journal. So I journal in my notes, and I've been doing so for many years. And I basically document my thought process, my energy, my emotions, what's going on in my life. And I'd never actually even gone back and looked at it, which is stupid. I had all of this data to go off, and I'd never even looked back on it. So I looked back on it that night, and I'm looking for any patterns that I can look at and think, right, you're going wrong here. You want to get to your goal of being a professional actor. We need to change this. And what kind of cropped up was every single time I really wanted something, it never happened. I thought, okay, that's interesting. I want something. I'm needy for it. It doesn't happen. And I think this is some sort of universal law that we all subconsciously know. We've heard it before. We find love when we're not looking for it. These types of things. I thought, well, that's really interesting. Why is that happening? How can I change that? And then that very night, I stumbled down the rabbit hole of the law of assumption. And it led me to a nice little sentence. Am versus want. If you're in want, if you're in need, you will never attain. If you're in am, everything comes to you, right? Something like that. And I thought, this is interesting. There's a way of achieving what you want to achieve by not just working hard. Okay, this makes sense. Right, I think I've heard of this before. And then it kind of dawned on me. Why did I want to become an actor? Why do you want anything in life? Because of the emotional byproduct of that thing. You don't actually want the thing. You don't actually want the house. You want the feeling that comes along with the house. So that's interesting. It's really interesting. So I don't want the thing. So why can't... So emotions are accessible at any point in time, because I know if I think something or if I believe something, I have an emotion. So if you say, for example, are an anxious person like me, then a thought can invoke an emotion very quickly, a very strong emotion. So why can't the same be true for a positive emotion? Okay, that makes sense. So in essence, I can bypass the event occurring and get straight to the emotion, instead of waiting for the event to occur to then allow myself to feel the emotion. Okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. And what? By actually feeling that emotion, I will then attain what I'm after as a byproduct of that. And I was like, holy moly, kaboli, dolly, foley. Hop up, you're gonna be a bomb, boom. What? How do I do this? This makes sense. It was this eureka moment of, I need to mentally, emotionally, spiritually become the person I want to be, for then the universe to reward me with that in the physical realm. Okay, it has to happen here before it can happen here. So how do I get there? How do I get to that state? And that was something that took time. Like anything, it's a skill. And And it kind of boiled down to these 4 things. And this is what I slowly discovered over the next week after a lot of research. Sublimation, affirmation, visualization, and raising your energetic state. Those were the 4 things. So sublimation works via essentially bypassing your conscious brain, having some input of information that bypasses your conscious brain and goes straight to your subconscious brain, which is way more powerful than your conscious brain, okay? It's where your belief systems are made up. It's where most things happen. It's where your identity lies, right? So what I did was I had on loop, and very important that if you're going to replicate this, do this exactly to the T, present tense and emotionally driven. I had those 2 things to a T. So I did a voice memo. I'm a successful actor. My name's Toolan. I'm a successful actor, and it feels like bliss. On repeat for 10 hours. When I'm going to sleep, when I'm waking up. When you're most suggestible, your brain is operating on those beta waves. That is when you want to play it. So every single day. And there was this weird shift that started happening. I'll tell you, just from that, there was this weird shift. Try it before you knock it. Then I combine that with affirmations. This isn't something that you have to do every day. You know, I look at it, especially with the affirmations, I look at it like planting a seed. You don't then go and dig up your seed every few weeks to check on it and see if it's growing. No, that will disrupt it. You input and then you sit back. Let it come to you. So on my notes, I wrote, I'm an actor in Coronation Street. I swear on my life. I didn't say I'm an actor on Hollyoaks. I didn't say I'm an actor on Emmerdale. I didn't say I'm an actor on Coronation Street. Six months later, an actor on Coronation Street. I'll show that to you. I wrote that down. Visualization. I'm talking about every single night I was going to bed, visualizing it. And the key thing to all of this is it has to be backed by emotion. Without emotion, there's nothing to it. It's just daydreaming. The emotion comes from specificity, repetition, and focus. Don't force it. It's like when you're trying to perform in a scene, you don't force yourself to cry. You plant the seed and then let it run. So I'd visualize every night what it looked like on set, how it made me feel. Until, the first week was hard. The first 2 weeks, 3 weeks was hard. By month 2, I felt everything. I knew every inch of the set. I had it all mapped out in my head, and I embodied that feeling. This worked so well that I remember distinctly one night out in Manchester. I remember, this is before I'd even done anything. I remember thinking to myself, and I was walking down the road, I think, why aren't people stopping me and asking for a photo or recognizing me? Like, that thought came into my head. Now, part of me knew that was nonsense, but there was another part of me that subconsciously it sprung into my head, and I stuck with it. That is a powerful place to be. But it requires you to program your brain. It requires you to put that input in. And that is why you're so powerful. That is why this is so powerful. You as a human being have the ability to live an entire life in your head. And once you live that entire life in your head, the material world will catch up eventually. It has to. Because the way you talk is different. The way you walk is different. Your energy is different. My performances started improving. I started believing I was the best actor in the room. I started believing that I was this actor on Coronation Street. I started believing it. Everything about your essence changes, your energy. And again, back to Neville Goddard, your internal state is a direct reflection of your external state. I believe truly that we are creators. We are our own creators. God is within us. We create everything from within. That's my belief. So a few months of this happening, and I no longer really needed anything external to give me that boost of confidence. And I think this is something that most people go wrong with. Everything external kind of impacts their belief system way too easily. I was bulletproof. If I had the shittest performance ever, I still believed, okay, this is part of the journey. This is part of the actor's journey to becoming the best actor he possibly could.
Do you not still worry?
No.
That because I'm sure Leo DiCaprio, I don't know his background, but
I have worries, and you do have moments of doubt, of self-doubt. You know, it's against the odds.
We're at 2000. 1 in 2000 is like.
Well, that's
0.
for a big role, but
Okay, cool.
It's not an option for me. Failure is not like the end failure of not getting any regular work is just not an option.
That's a mad thing to say, you know.
I was impenetrable from outside source, an overwhelming belief. And this is all in my journal. This is all in my notes. Anyway, 4 months down the line, get an email from my agent. Coronation Street, want to see you for a role. Archie. Yeah, that's right. You heard Archie. Not Mason, Archie. And the role for Archie came through. And I remember saying, this is it. This is it. It's worked. Finally, it's worked. And it almost felt like it was a byproduct rather than me getting to that goal. It almost felt as if I'd already achieved it. This is just a byproduct of time catching up. I did the tape. I thought it was pretty good. Sent it off. Got the text maybe a week later. In that period, in between me waiting and then hearing that I was going for a recall, I kept seeing signs. My reticular activating system was on overdrive. I kept seeing signs that I was gonna get this role. You know, I saw a Coronation Street sign, an actual sign of a road. I saw a whole host of things. And then the screen test comes along. I pull up, I park in the spot. And I remember saying to myself, looking around the car park and going, okay, all right, this is where I work now. This is where I work now. Are you mad? The biggest opportunity in my life. You think 6 months ago, I would have had the confidence to rock up and truly believe and think this is where I work now? You're absolutely mad if you think I would have even got close to that type of mentality. I walked through the doors. And of course I was nervous, but these are the thoughts that kind of spring into my head. And I'm like, okay, cool. This is reception. Okay, so I'm guessing my dressing room will be up here. Part of me believed these things. Like, these thoughts will come into my head. This is how I operated. And all of this was possible kind of through God and through myself. God is with me, I cannot lose. I kept saying that. God is with me, I cannot lose. I think God is a really good entity to lean on with this. Mark 11:24, Jesus says, when you pray and you believe, you shall have. God is with me, I cannot lose. It's a really, really powerful thing. And I went and did the screen test. I walked out, sat in my car, and I said I got that role. And I believed it. I said to myself, I think I got that role. I got that role. That's crazy. And this might sound big-headed or whatever, but 6 months ago, I would have walked in there. All my energy would be looking towards, oh no, I'm going to muck this up. What if I muck this up? Blah, 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 blah. That level of focus, clarity, and belief only came about because I had lived and experienced the life of being that actor before it even happened. All of this, what I mean by this is me going to the set, all of that. It was just a byproduct. It was just time catching up. It just felt natural. It didn't faze me. And to me, that really highlights the power of this thing, man. It's so powerful. And how powerful you are. But it requires effort and it requires you to input into here. It's really magical what you can do. You are so flipping powerful. You have no idea. Society will condition you to believe you're not, because if you think you are, everything collapses. People don't want to do the crappy jobs. The powers that be want to keep you thinking that everything is linear, everything is put into boxes. You're this person or that person. You know, there's this hierarchy. You can't do this. It's nonsense. You are so flipping powerful. You have no idea. No idea. We all are. There is nothing different from me to you. There's nothing different from me to your favorite celebrity. There's nothing different. They just understood the rules of the game, the rules of the universe. That is it. You do those 4 things repeatedly, your life will change. Mark my words. That's all I have to say for today. If there is any questions, please drop them down below. And it's a fun one today. It was a fun one. I really want to hear your feedback, but please, if you do anything today, take my advice seriously. I've lived it. I've breathed it. It's real. Enjoy the rest of your day, people.